Hey, welcome back to Biohacking Health to create unstoppable focus and boundless energy. This is Unit 3, Becoming a Navy SEAL. Box breathing. Now, breathing is super important. We're going to cover it twice. We cover it again in Unit 8, and we're covering it today. Now, the reason why it's so important is to get our nervous system on side, to decrease inflammation, to increase our ability for memory retention, problem solving, creativity, and drive and focus. Breath patterns, emotional patterns are connected. So we're going to go in to teach you some of the skills in box breathing, and I want you the opportunity to master them. So when we get up to Unit 8, you've learned these skills so we can help then master them a little bit further and give you the extra tweaks. Now, if the Navy SEALs invest so much time and money, they have an 8-system approach to increasing success on their missions designed by Mark Devine, ex-Navy SEAL, who now trains these Navy SEALs in emotional regulations so they can offset the negatives of stress to drive the success of their missions. And their number one step is breathing. Breath control is emotional control. Emotional control, emotional regulation, or emotional intelligence will help us be the best version of ourselves. So breathing is super important. So I really look forward to seeing you on the inside and the content part of the presentation today. Just as always, talking about the call of action, there is a box breathing two-sided worksheet. Look at that, go through it, and start to implement it. Keep breathing, and I'll see you soon. So let's get in and have a look at box breathing, becoming this Navy SEAL, and why it's so important. So let's have a look at the contents we're going to be covering. So we're going to look at why is breath so important, the nervous system, mechanics, breathing biochemistry, and how to box breathe. Now, the how to box breathe, the box breathing plus the witness is in the bonus, okay? And then later on, when we get further down, there's 2 other bonuses, which will be box breathing plus the witness plus the courage loop and win in the mind, okay? And I'll talk about win in the mind today as well, but also a little bit further down, we'll go into Wim Hof breathing. So that bonuses. So in the bonuses, there's going to be 2 other breathwork bonus videos. Probably 3 in total. Box breathing and the witness, box breathing, the witness, the courage loop, and then Wim Hof. So there's 3 bonus videos. So let's get into it. Why is breath so important? I'm just going to come back a slide. Breath is so important because every breath pattern has an emotional pattern, and it's bi-directional, okay? The only way a body will die is because of lack of oxygen. Now, there's many different ways that lack of oxygen can occur, but nearly the true definition of being alive is your cell's ability to utilize oxygen. Okay, if you get cut, you bleed out, you don't get oxygen. Yeah, if you choke, you can't get air in and out, you can't get oxygen. Yeah, if you get a tumor, blood can't get past it, then there's no oxygen over here. So that's the power of breathing and oxygen. Okay, but more importantly, the muscles that control breathing, predominantly like through the vagus nerve and the phrenic nerve, have these real massive interplays on emotional and state regulation. If every breathing pattern has an emotional pattern, and if emotional regulation and emotional control was one of the major keys to business success, driving success, and being able to be a great partner and a great dad, or a great mum, if my daughter's all over the place and going crazy, if I can't hold my emotional regulation stable, then I'm not going to respond as that best version of myself. And I want to have that state regulation. I want to be able to present as that best version of myself. And the way that I can do that is by capturing the breath. Now, we've talked about being a Navy SEAL. That's because Mark Devine, ex-Navy SEAL, who now has SEAL Fit training, has been employed by the Navy SEALs. These are people that deal with the most amount of pressure in life. Yeah, if things don't go well for them, someone loses their life, okay? Highly stressful situation. They know the power of A, target selection, but B, the number one thing, of their 8-step system that they do breath control is number one, because they know if they can regulate their state and their emotion, they make better decisions and their outcomes are a lot more successful. So all Navy SEALs practice box breathing a couple of times a day. And when the shit hits the fan, per se, okay, they breathe to get control of their emotion. So emotional regulation is super important. And we know that with our emotional regulation, so I keep doing this, I apologize, that with our emotional regulation, emotions are one of the things that drive, inflammation the greatest. So now we can be really good responder. We're going to improve our health, and we're going to do all this through the power of breath. That's why it's so important. Now, to be in flow state. Now, for most people, flow state is a little bit more parasympathetic, a little bit more rest and digest, a little bit more down regulation. Okay. And when we're in flow state, we're getting stuff like the ability to deal with complex and the novel. Profound mental clarity, feelings of joy, intrinsic joy, fluidity in decision making, accelerated innovation. Okay. We're getting open to new ideas and concepts, okay? And we're getting a chance to increase our fluid intelligence. We get to see a higher level of ourselves. Now, who doesn't want more profound clarity? Better in decision making, feeling a lot more joy, okay? Accelerated innovation. Who does not want that? Well, if you can do that and increase your health span and increase your lifespan and be able to deal with stress and respond a lot better, like, why wouldn't you want that? So let's go and get that. We're going to become Navy SEALs. And I'm going to show you how and why this works. And we're going to have a look at breathing. We're going to look at one thing first. And it's based on that same component, okay? When I'm stressed, there is benefits in being higher stress. Don't get me wrong, So when I go into the acute stress state, my inflammation system lifts up. My pro-inflammatory cytokines lift up and I fight viruses and bacteria. I also become more vigilant. My motivation, drive, and purpose are up. That is great. But if I stay there a long time and I never come down, my immunity drops. The inflammation goes to chronic inflammation. I start to switch off the good function of my brain. My gut starts to deteriorate. Okay, I'm not getting nutrients in. I'm more stressed. I'm starting to make poor decisions. I'm starting to get tired and fatigued. So stress isn't bad, but we just stay there most often too much. Okay, acute stress is great, and you'll see that later on. But what we want to be able to do is through our breath, regulate where we are, because we really do want to be in this place where we've got great intuition. We're really imaginative. We're getting allow us to break through barriers, lightning fast processing. We want to get into this state, okay? And we want to be able to have good emotional control to represent ourselves the best that we can. And we do that through breath. So let's just look at the mechanics. Basic breathing mechanics. We're going to breathe in through the nose, not the mouth. Mouth breathing is stress breathing, leads to forward head posture, leads to alterations in our blood pH levels, and it creates more stress and anxiety. Okay, now we should be breathing through our mouth as often as we eat through our nose. Okay, now I can't remember if I got that from James Nestor or Patrick McEwen, or that was from Brian McKenzie, but one of these world leaders, that's their quote, and I love it. We should be eating through our nose as often as we breathe through our mouth, okay? And too many people are mouth breathers. So we breathe through the nose. We get a high increase of nitric oxide, which is really relaxing. It's antiviral, it's antibacterial. So it's going to really help you fight off pathogens. And at this point in time, there's probably nothing better than reducing overall stress, getting more elasticity in our arteries and our veins, offsetting stress and becoming more antiviral and antibacterial. And we do that through nitric oxide and nose breathing. There's a reason we have a nose, okay? Then we're going to look at the other parts of breathing mechanics, which is through the diaphragm. When I breathe through the diaphragm, yes, I only use sarcasm periodically. Like, what a great t-shirt. Okay, then we just breathe through the tummy. In, out, in, out. That mechanical movement of the diaphragm excites the vagus nerve, which shifts me to parasympathetic. Okay, breathing in through the nose is going to help with the gaseous exchange. okay? But we nose breathe over mouth breathe, yeah? We belly breathe over chest breathe. When we breathe from the diaphragm, we fill the lungs from the bottom up, and most of the alveoli are in the bottom third, okay, of our lungs. So we get better gaseous exchange, toxins out, good stuff in when we breathe, okay? Then hyperventilation, fast breathing is a stress. It's a stress breathing pattern. So we want to breathe light, slow, deep. So we all get to take some LSD. Ooh. Okay, which is long, light, slow, deep. Oh, okay. I'll start again. I had another one. Long, light, slow, steady, deep, diaphragmatic. LSD squared. Look at that. I just made that up in that moment. Going to use that moving forward. Like, how cool is that? And that is how we're going to breathe. So we're going to breathe in through the nose, into the belly, out longer than the in. That's our breathing mechanics. In through the nose, into the belly. Yep. Light, slow, deep, longer exhale. Really powerful. And the way that this works is this is going to change our biochemistry. When I'm breathing long, light, slow, deep, longer pause, it's going to help me increase my CO2 tolerance. I don't want to go into it, but CO2 is one of the key compounds here. The more CO2 tolerance you have, yeah, the fitter you'll be, and the more less stressed you'll be, the better your health will be. So breathing rate, poor CO2 tolerance equals breathe faster, equals die sooner. It also equals breathe faster, always equals higher stress and poorer decision making and less productivity, because your concentration and your focus is out. So for focus, for concentration, for longevity, for health, we want to increase our CO2 tolerance, and we do that through our LSD squared breathing. Okay. It's got nitrous oxide there. I see that it's there, but it is wrong. It's nitric oxide. I typed in the wrong word, or spell checked it wrong when I typed it in. Okay, so it's nitric oxide, not nitrous oxide. We get most of that through the nose. If you really want to increase your nitric oxide, do a hum. So breathe in. Relax the jaw, relax the shoulders. And when I'm breathing this way now, not only do I have more nitric oxide, which will relax my internal vessels, but it's very antiviral, antibacterial. When I get my CO2 tolerance up, I can handle more stress, okay? And my respiration rate will slow down, and I'll live longer and be less stressed. And as a part of that, my blood pH drops, so I'm less acidic, I'm less stressed, and my body is really helping me breathe slower and live longer. So when we do LSD squared breathing, light, long, steady, slow, deep, diaphragmatic breathing, we've got the mechanics through the vagus nerve, through the diaphragm from filling the alveoli, and then we're getting the carbon dioxide. So we've got the mechanics and we've got the gas. So that's how we breathe, okay? Now, box breathing is a technique that we're going to use for multiple reasons. Now, I did say before, okay, that in general, we're a bit stressed. So finding ways to calm down is really important, okay? Also to get out of our head, and you'll see that thoughts and emotions come up. It's one of the heaviest things that we carry that steal our energies, our negative thoughts. So in box breathing and the witness, we get an opportunity to relax. We get an opportunity to turn within. We get an opportunity to become more reflective. So not only are we increasing creativity, problem solving, and memory, not only are we offsetting chronic stress, chronic inflammation, and boosting our immune system, not only are we getting more nitric oxide and stress resilience for our carbon dioxide, but we're getting a chance to be introspective, and we're getting a chance to focus with more focus and more concentration. Because when we breathe in the box breathing with the witness, we start to be aware when we start to lose our mind and it wanders off, and then we can pull it back in, okay, And the more we become aware of when our mind wanders, we're increasing focus and concentration. That's why we've got this in at the start, because I want you for the next 4 or 5 weeks to be working on increasing focus, increasing concentration, increasing your nitric oxide, becoming more relaxed, getting more parasympathetic, getting better sleep. Okay, so I'll see you now in the bonus videos where we're going to go into box breathing and the witness, and I'll talk a little bit about winning the mind. See you soon.